And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
What is going on today?
Hey.
Hell yeah, let's go, let's go.
Yes, sir. It's Friday for y'all.
That's right. That is right. What is going on? You know, normally I get this when I come up here on the stream. I'm always thinking when I'm on my stream, pumping it up and blasting the music. I say, I always got to remember I'm a retired Navy Robs. It's a little bit more quiet here. It's a little bit more streaming while we're live here. What is going on today? Rob, what's going on, buddy? How you doing today?
Not much, man. How you doing this week? I mean, it's been a good week for me.
Yes, yeah, it's been a hell of a hot day here in New York today and yesterday. The morning right now, it's extremely hot. It's like a past way 80. And you know, the humidity here in New York is a little bit, you know, with all the cars going on, and it's hot here in New York for sure,
Yeah.
guarantee you.
Well, I got lucky. This past week, we got a storm turning off the coast of St. Augustine. Not quite strong enough to be a sub-depression, but still got some rotation. But it's pushing that onshore wind in, and it's actually dropping the humidity. It dropped everything down into the low 80s. So we're actually doing good for the past couple days. But I mean, it was in the 90s, and the humidity had the feel like of 105, so it wasn't fun at all.
Yeah. Well, right now it's actually 90. It's actually 90 here in 91 in going to be New York. It looks like it's going to be about maybe 95 degrees here in New York City. So that is hot. And again, we don't have that cool breeze unless you move further upstate. You know, it's a little bit more. But here in New York, it's the humidity part. You know, that disgusting sweating part that people don't like here in New York. So let's start saying good morning to people, guys. Today we have a special guest here today. Maybe we'll bring up the special guest now before. Oh no, let's start saying hello to a lot of people. Then we'll say hello to the special guest.
Yeah.
What do we got?
We got George Campbell out there.
Lola Davis.
Postal Panner.
We got Barry, AZ Coins. What's going on? Good morning to all. I know that it's always early, and Friday is a day that how many people normally want to come up, so it's a little different. I know, Rob, you were streaming Wednesday, and of course it was. Even though I took off, I thought about streaming, but I just wanted to relax. So, but let's start bringing up this special guest. Here he is, the one and only Jeff Davis in the house.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Good
Jeff
morning,
Davis.
Big Bob.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Big Apple. It's good to see you guys.
What's going on, Jeff Davis? How you doing?
Oh,
No.
just like you guys, it's hot here in West Virginia, and we're just trying to stay cool.
And what is the weather out there in West Virginia right now?
Well, it's a beautiful sunny day, but we're in probably mid 80s now, and we're supposed to hit low 90s today and mid 90s tomorrow.
Wow. So yeah, that is hot. Definitely for sure. 100%. It is hot. And unfortunately, like myself, I mean, I do have a pool downstairs, but fortunately they've been having some little issues. But I know, Jeff Davis, I know that you don't have a pool, right?
No,
you don't have a pool. I know that you don't have. But friend retired Navy Rob here has a pool, and retired Navy Rob, I think he did mention, I think we were talking last week, that you wanted to invite everybody who collects currency to your house to go swimming to the pool. Was that correct?
Oh, yeah, sure. My address is on the webpage. Just ignore that P.O. box part of it.
Yeah. So if you see the P.O. box and you happen to show up and you don't see a pool. But yeah, retired Navy Rob does have an amazing pool, guys. I have seen it. It is a really, I tell you, it's a nice pool. And I'm saying to myself, Robert, you go out there? He goes, once in a while. I'm saying, are you kidding me? Forget about it. I would be swimming in there, like backstroking. You know what I'm saying? You know, of course, I'll be sitting there, you know, with a nice little thing, cigar in my mouth and hanging out like probably, I don't know, just floating in a nice little fluke there, you know, with a cigar and hanging out in the pool, because he does have a nice pool, by the way. It's a nice in-ground pool. Not even a bump, but in-ground, which is nice.
Yes, it is very nice to have it.
Oh, yeah, it is. Especially on days like this, Rob. I'm like I said, surprised that I would, listen, if it was me right now, I wouldn't even be streaming. I'll be streaming probably maybe from the pool. I'll be streaming. You know, I don't know if I'll show you currency, but yeah, I probably would be streaming while I'm in the pool. So, Jeff Davis, again, welcome to our morning show. And I know that there's some people that like to come, but again, it is 11 o'clock here on Eastern time, which is actually 11:08. And I know a lot of people don't normally get up so early to watch retired Navy Rob and myself. I mean,
it's a little early for those West Coast guys too.
Yeah, West Coast and even the middle part of. But yeah, I mean, like, who the hell wants to get up so early to watch me and him? You know what I'm saying? They're like, who wants to watch these two fugazi guys? So, Jeff, so again, you know, what we do is we do currency, and I know that we've spoken several times, and also, and I know I've had you on my own channel about talking about currency. So, of course, I would like to kind of just, you know, let me just address Barry. That is funny, Barry. I don't have one, unfortunately. These two guys, they have it, and you know, maybe I should have came, Barry, but you, Barry, that was a good one, Barry. I gotta tell you, that's a good one, buddy. Yeah, I kind of, you know, maybe it should have been more called the bid crew. Maybe start bringing this guy up every morning to have. Yeah, that's a good one, Barry. Yeah, so we're gonna start out with currency, and again, Jeff Davis, I know you've been on my channel, and we've spoken, and I know that you've bought currency in the past, but and I'm not that sure. I think we have. What got you into currency?
It's kind of a funny story, and kind of drug out a little bit, but back in the 80s and 90s, I was doing a lot with 60s and 70s muscle cars. And I used to go to swap meets and flea markets looking for parts and stuff. And when I used to go to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, big swap meet twice a year, there was a guy there that actually sold coins and currency. And being my name, Jeff Davis, I used to live out in the country up north. And I called my little farmette, I guess you'd say, Confederate Acres. So when I stumbled across this guy with the currency and coins, he had a bunch of what I've learned now are obsolete coins or obsolete notes and Confederate notes, and I used to pick one up or a couple up each time I was there, totally not knowing what I was doing. I had no clue what I was buying, just saw something I liked, bought it because I thought it was neat. Well, fast forward to the 2020s, Lola and I got involved in the coin community during COVID, mainly to acquire some silver just in case we ever had a problem or a situation, we'd have something to barter with. And one thing led to another. I absolutely love history. And we started with the buying some silver, got into constitutional, learned more about coins, found out just so much history about that. Then I started watching you, Big Apple, and the currency fascinated me, which prompted me to dig out the notes that I'd purchased, 30 years ago. And again, it piqued my interest with the history and looking at the notes and the beauty of them. It just kind of got me hooked. I'm still what I would consider very new at currency, and I've got a ton to learn. And one thing I find is the more I learn, the more confused I get as to what direction I would like to go, because there's so many avenues to collect. But that's kind of the history in a nutshell. And as you know, my wife Lola, she's also gotten interested in the currency. This is something we've done together since we got into the coins, 4 or 5 years ago. And she's into the currency now too. So I'm learning, I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm slowly accumulating some currency. So that's kind of my story. And
Okay.
Big Apple, you've been a mentor, and Rob, watching your channel and the things that you've done on the currency, it's just a rabbit hole that I want to go down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you said you started with like Confederate or obsolete. Do you remember what your first piece was?
Not exactly. Uh, I would pick up a piece or two, and I was buying, looking back at some of these notes, I was buying, $15, $20 for one. I've been fascinated with fractional currency since I found out about that, 30 years ago. And probably my first was either a 5-cent state of North Carolina fractional or a 50-cent state of North Carolina fractional. And I guess those were possibly the first ones I ever got.
I know that a lot of people don't know, but I think your father collected currency, correct? Because you had.
Well, my dad wasn't really a currency collector, but he had some currency that basically my sister's brother and I weren't really aware of until after he and my mother passed away. We were going through their safety deposit box, and in there was some currency, which I kept a piece of it, and my sister, one sister, was interested, and she kept a couple pieces. And you, Big Apple, help me. If you give me a second, I'll try to change cameras, and I'll show you that.
Yeah, unless you want to just pull it up, you're more
than
show it.
If you can see it, it might be there.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah, and Rob, the notes you have from your hometown?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this note is from Spartansburg, Pennsylvania. This is where Lola and I lived before we moved to West Virginia. And it has a population of 300 people.
Oh,
Yet,
wow.
yet back in the day, they had the Grange National Bank in town, and obviously had their charter. And I had no clue what this note even was, other than it said Spartansburg, Pennsylvania, Grange National Bank, until Big Apple helped me with it and helped me get the note graded, which this, is the second note that I only have two graded notes. This is the second one. My other graded note is a 1917 legal tender sawhorse that I actually bought from Big Apple.
Okay.
So that's the total graded notes I have. I didn't even know about grading of notes until I started following you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I had Jeff Davis, everyone who does, I did sell one of my notes, 1917 that I had to Jeff Davis because I wanted to upgrade it. And normally, I'm just, hey, just try to get the biggest, the notes when I like to see them at probably a 50. Who doesn't like to have a grade 58 where it's almost just, almost that uncirculated note back from 1917. I mean, that's an amazing. So
Incredible.
sometimes what I do is just get rid of my notes that are graded, probably just in a grade, and just because I've either upgraded the note. Uh, um, uh, Rob, you had also bought. I bought a
Black
Black
Eagle from
Eagle,
you.
correct? Yeah, and I think that was I don't know what grade it was, but I know it was I upgraded to a 58 EPQ. Rob was actually I bought it from Rob's coin his coin shop, and he was in there flipping. I like Rob, and I'm FaceTiming him, and he's like looking. I'm like, I want that. I mean, that's such a hell of a great price. And guys, these notes are not cheap. Anyone, who either buys them or buy them, there you go. It was a great 30. And that was my note that I had sent out. I sent that note out to get graded, and I picked it up on a deal. I picked up the actual note on a deal, sent it out to get graded. And, that was pretty, cool. And then Rob just said, I said, Rob, I'll sell you this note. I gave him such a deal. He said, I think the guy sent me the money faster than I even told him what the deal was. And I upgraded to a 58. Jeff Davis the same way. I just, the note that I gave Jeff Davis, I totally even forgot what I sold it, which is not, but I remember selling you the note. I think it was you, the 1917, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was in
Here.
1917. Yeah, there you go. And it was just yeah. Well, that one was yours. Yeah, that one I helped Jeff Davis get it graded, and I think I had posted.
There's the
Oh yeah, that was
sawhorse.
yeah, it was just a sawhorse. Again, I picked that up.
Yeah.
It was really inexpensive. I just had to get it graded. I think I just charged Jeff Davis just exactly what I bought it for and got it graded. It didn't even, I didn't really care. I just upgraded the one that I had, which was that I got it like a 50. And even the one that I have a 50, I'm still going to probably wind up upgrading that just to get rid of the one that I have, So the note that Jeff Davis was with the 1902 National, that I remember when I actually helped him out get it graded because we were talking about, really to keep the note in for a longer time of year, get it graded. It actually protects the note, right? Especially if it means something to you, right? I know that, I don't know what you bought it for, but I know two of the other notes that he did show me that came from his father's safe deposit box. Those were like really inexpensive, and one of them is in 1899. I think I showed everybody on retired on a previous video. I don't remember exactly what video it was, but we showed it, and they paid like $95,
$95.
$98 on an 1899 $5 Indian chief, which was like really doesn't.
Incredible.
So I told Jeff Davis this time, and actually I said, Jeff Davis, you know what? You need to get that graded, plus the other 19, and plus Jeff Davis has, I think, maybe another note, Jeff Davis, that you want to get graded. So you do have.
My sister had it. It's I believe it's a 1917, or no, I believe it's the like the Spartansburg legal tender that
Right.
I have from the bank called the National Bank of Corey, and Corey, Pennsylvania is where I was born and raised and lived
Right.
the majority of my life. And my dad was actually a director of that bank prior to his
Oh.
passing. And
Right.
my sister has that note that we're going to send in and get graded too.
So yeah, I mean, great. I mean, so here's the situation. You got a guy that has 2 banknotes. They mean a lot to save it. I mean, I'm more than sure you're going to probably pass it down. You're not looking to sell it. You're not looking to, in the near future, because remember something, the notes are valuable to you as much as, they're not, how was I going to say, just because the notes are really valuable to you doesn't mean they're valuable to the next person,
Right.
So, the note's only valuable to a certain extent, right?
Right.
So, I can't buy your history. I could only buy the history of the note of how many were printed and how many. But, of course, getting those 2 notes graded, absolutely 100%. It will, remain in that, those slabs. And I think it's just well worth it. It just makes it look a lot richer that way, right? Than just
Yeah.
holding it up in the air and saying, wow, this is a nice note. But once it's in that thing, you just look at it and it tells you everything else what that note is about. So yeah. There's a couple of people that just walked in here recently. I don't know, Rob, you want to say hello, who they are? It was
Let's see here. We got 210
no.
stocks.
Yeah.
Kraken.
Kraken just walked in. Kraken, good morning. How are
Good
you?
morning, Kraken. Good morning, 210.
And Lola Davis. I don't know if we did. We did say hi to Lola Davis. We better say hello to Lola Davis. So yeah, we definitely for sure 100%. I told Jeff Davis, hey, get that. Now, I actually did take the next step and I normally don't do this for anybody because Jeff Davis and we do speak. I did get that note graded. The other notes that he does have with his the ones that he has and the one that his sister, I will show him how to get that graded on his own. And it's an easy process. And of course, we've showed you here on this channel on how to fill out the documentation on getting notes graded. And I think it's well worth it. One, you also will learn to know what the grade would come back as. The grade doesn't really show you the value, right? I mean, it shows you the value to the extent of knowing what grade, what note it is. But of course, I mean, you can sell the note as $1 million. I don't know who's going to give you $1 million, but you could sell it to whatever you want. But the notes are to a certain extent valuable to what the books are and what your knowledge is. And getting a note graded, I think, just gives more of a stamp approval of knowing basically, that's a 30 or that's a 15. So there's no really gray area on that.
Yeah. Some people are like, it doesn't make the note any more valuable, but it lets you know what you have. And that, in a sense, makes the value to it.
Right.
Because,
yeah.
Because if I'm saying something's a 20 all day and it's a 12, and you grade it, and you know you're not getting ripped off.
Right. And if you're right, you're telling me it's a 20 and it's a 15. or it's it's a 10, then you kind of just like, okay, well, I just gave you money for like a 20, and it's this is not even a 20. Um, you know, and it's even with the guys, and it's like even the Morgan dollars. Um, I just picked up and I try to kind of did the video, but the video kind of messed up. I should have did a live video, would have made it a lot easier. An 1888 S Morgan dollar. Um, again, there is no gray area. It's an MS, 62, and it's not clean, it's not damaged. You know exactly what you're looking at. If I tell you that this Morgan dollar here is going to be, an MS, probably not. It may come back as an AU. It may come back as whatever it is. So, the stamp of the approval. Let the professionals deal with it. That's their job, right? I'm not a grader. I don't work for that. I just send it out for them. But anyway, going back to your notes, Jeff Davis. Yes, I did have the pleasure of sending out that note out, and it's a little hard because I was a little nervous, and Jeff Davis would tell you, because to grab somebody else's note that
Oh
Jeff
yeah.
Davis, I was like, and I normally don't do that, and I told Jeff Davis I really don't do that. So he sent it to me. It got to be safe, but then of course now I got to ship it out to PMG with all the other currency, because if not, Jeff Davis would have had to spend a little bit more money than basically what he would have just sent out if it was a group, because there was only one note he wanted to get graded.
Right.
And again,
Yeah.
Jeff Davis twisted my arm and said, "Hey, Big Apple, can you do this?"
Yeah. He said, "I know where you live."
Yeah. So I was a little worried about that. I felt, you know what? Let me just send it out. This guy's threatening me about sending his note out. So, but
That's
no,
good.
and it got to me. It got to him safe. I was happy, and I said to myself, "Okay, I really don't like to do that." So that is a little nerve wracking sometimes, believe it or not, because I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey, did you get the note?"
Jeff
When
might
you're
make a visit to you.
It's the last thing I want anybody to come by with those old for you. And I know Jeff Davis. That's one of his collections, by the way. He does. He is a collection on guns out there. So, but yeah, Jeff Davis, you are welcome. I know that you and I talk mostly a lot of times about currency, and you
Yep.
do enjoy it, and you enjoy the main thing about a lot of people don't know about Jeff Davis. He enjoys history more than anybody else that I could know of. The history part, he loves it, and he enjoys that part of it. So do I. I enjoy it,
Yep.
but I really do just love buying the currencies. So,
Yeah. I mean,
and
I love the history of it too. Just holding it, thinking about what could possibly happen with that note. Who
yeah,
could have held it?
Who
It's just
could have held
amazing.
it? Yep.
yeah,
A great great grandfather could have had that, or a president, or somebody famous. You just never know. That's
no,
if it
I mean,
talks.
absolutely not. But one of the things, Jeff Davis, I want to ask you was, even though it's that you collect all these notes, um, I don't know, um, is there something that you are planning to collect? Because I know that I've asked you, and like there are certain people that collect a lot of different notes. I know that retired Navy Rob, he is just one of the people that love to collect obsolete notes. That is one of his main things. He's one person, and when I have a question about Rob, it's obsolete, because he's really into it, right? I'm more into my legal tenders, the civil certificates of that era. But Rob is more into that. What is a note that your next note that you're interested in picking
Well,
up? And I know that
yeah,
you're
I
looking.
like the obsoletes, and Lola and I just ordered one book on the obsoletes, uh, so we can get more knowledgeable on that. Uh, I I'm a huge fan of George Washington and Martha Washington, and I'd really like to get the educational note with Martha on the back. And someday, I'd like to have the note that has Martha Washington on the front. Those are two notes that really, really fascinate me. I'd like to get some more obsoletes that are in better condition than the ones I have. There's just the artwork on these. Yeah, that educational note is absolutely gorgeous. And I think Martha's on the back, isn't she, with George?
Yes.
She sure is.
Yep. And the what is it? The Declaration of Independence is on the slab there, and you can actually read it. The artwork is phenomenal, in my opinion, on all these old notes.
Yeah. The educational notes, Congress actually commissioned actual artists to design them.
Wow. I'm a huge fan of George and Martha. I think she was a very amazing woman, being the very first lady of our country.
Hey, you see George Campbell's
I know
comment
that
for
you're
you?
a huge fan. Yeah. I'm not even going to pay attention to George Campbell. I know exactly what he's going. I don't even need to read it. As soon as you said George Campbell, I don't even need to read his comment. I know exactly where he's going with it. So, yeah, George Campbell is a pisser, real. So I know that a lot of times when I talk to Jeff Davis, he's always mentioning Martha Washington and George Washington, and believe it or not, as with the gray beard and everything else, Jeff does know them personally. That is why he is a huge fan of them. Just to let you guys know, I know that you guys probably were like, "Oh, why he's so boosty with them?" That's because Jeff Davis does know who they are. Yeah, and the one with the silver, the $1 one, obviously, I have that one. It's actually getting graded in PMG. So I don't have it here, but I do have that. I do have that note on its way here. And actually, it may be by next week. I may be doing an unboxing. Who knows? But
So, hey, Jeff, here's another rabbit hole for you to go down if you love your history.
Okay.
Let me put myself up real quick.
Yeah, it's okay.
I have a colonial note, and I just ordered the book on colonial notes. That's just an era that is unbelievable to me.
Now, one thing that's amazing, and this was actually invented by Ben Franklin. You see these leaves on the back. They took a real leaf and made a plaster mold of it, and then poured a tin, a copper or tin outline of that, and then put that on the engraving plate. So that's an actual leaf design there, because it was almost impossible for counterfeiters to duplicate it, and they had their specimens that they would compare it against to make sure it wasn't a counterfeit piece. But I mean, you'll find these are go from everything, because we didn't have a money yet. Of course, 1774 wasn't even 1775 revolution, but you'll find these in anything from like Spanish mill dollars to pence.
Mine, the one I have, is a 9 pence. It's in horrible condition.
I'd still get it graded though. Just for the preservation of it, to keep it nice. And
I would too, Jeff Davis. Let me see that one more time, Jeff Davis. Yeah, I
But,
mean, I would. I mean, it's something that
yeah, to
Because
me,
even
Yeah,
in
kinda-
bad condition, those notes are valuable.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
when
I
there's
make
not as bad condition as you may think it is.
oh, I picked that up at coin show Lola and I went to a couple months ago. It's dated 1775 and it's 9 pence. And, of course, that's, before our Declaration of Independence, but the rumblings were there. And
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know we were actually at war before we declared independence.
right,
What was it? April of 1775 was when the shot heard around the world was fired.
Lexington Concord. Yep,
Yes.
right.
yep.
So, by the way, Rob, you did have a bid for that note you put up there.
Yeah, we'll say no.
All right.
Like you said, it came from George Campbell. We'll just ignore
Yeah.
it.
Well, the buck and go came from George Campbell, but the $20 came from me. So, yeah. So Jeff Davis, yeah. So that would be actually one of the notes. I guess I'm assuming is the educational note, correct?
Right. The educational notes on my bucket list, the Martha Washington note. There's every time I look at the book, I see another note that I'd like to own someday. The Lazy Two. The Lazy
Oh,
Oh
Two.
yeah.
yeah,
I think that's a phenomenal looking note. Just the artwork in them, and when you see the real thing, it's so much more meaningful than just looking at a picture in the book.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And those lazy deuces, they're a national bank note, right?
Yes,
Big Apple.
they are. Yes, a national bank note. I'll pull it up right now. Let me see if I can get some light up in here, just to show everybody what it looks like. And I'm going to show everybody.
And why they call it a lazy deuce.
Yeah,
Right.
why is it called a lazy deuce? And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because it's lazy. It's just a lazy two. So let me just turn this around. There we go. Boost this up. It is here. It is. It is a national bank note. Right there. And if I could just get this camera, and obviously the lazy two, it's because the two is on its side.
Yeah.
You see it right there.
Turn your
Two,
book on the side.
correct. So if it would be here, there's your $2 note, right? So your lazy two is just obviously just regular one. There you go. First National Bank, and the work, the artwork in the back. I mean,
Oh,
just look at that. I mean, it is
well,
just
when you
it
think
is
that some guy hand engraved that in reverse, that
uh,
in itself is just amazing.
absolutely. And again, it is in reverse. So I mean, you have to have some real good talent.
And by
Um,
hand.
yeah,
Yeah,
and by hand.
hand.
So this note here, and this is one of Jeff Davis. A grade 20, and this is an older book. This is an older book here. A grade 20 is showing 4,500. A grade 20. Um, so I don't know what the new book is. The new book that's coming out in July. I don't know what the auction houses have valued this note as, but in the July book should indicate maybe a different number on grading. And again, guys, the number that's graded, because if it's a grade 20, doesn't have to be sold. It could be sold for 7,000. It just depends who's going to purchase the note. But they normally just estimate this here, and this is what. And here's the first, and this is the 1875 one. This is the series, the second one. Okay, so it's almost the same. The only difference between was a seal. Was the charter number on this one? The charter number is on this one here. If you see it there on this second, then it wouldn't be on this one. That's the difference. This is the original series, and this is the second series. Okay, so they had the charter numbers. They will post on the second one, and on the first one there is none. That's the difference between the two of them, between two nationals notes. So, but I know that Jeff Davis has been asking, to purchase sorry. I was trying to get it back. So Justin, on that note, he did say that, having that note is something that's, the second, the lazy 2 is a beautiful note.
It's out of my price range and always will be, but every time you guys show parts of your collection, that inspires me more, and it gives me so many ideas of different ways to go. Like you just mentioned, the colonial continental currency, Rob. I can't wait to get another piece of that, but I'm holding off until I get the book so I know what I'm doing. The one that I have here, I bought it because I really wanted to have a piece of that currency. I don't know if I paid too much, got a good deal. I'm just happy to have it. And, Big Apple, you and Rob both have said right along, and Dan with Polar Currency says it, and Stu Prubeck, education, get the books, learn about this stuff. It's with me, it's the history of it, but that's part of the learning, and the cost of the note or whatever it is you're collecting is secondary to the history and the information about it, at least to me. But when you guys show your stuff, man, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I just started recently getting into error notes. So I went out and got.
Wow.
And this book here has all kinds of information about the different ones. That one that I just sent in that I wasn't sure was a legitimate error note, or if it was manufactured, it is listed in there where the district seal and the district numbers are missing. Because on the third press is when your district seals and that go on there, and your Treasury seal, but they're inked through different sides. One's black ink and one's green ink. So if there's a problem with the black inking, you're not going to have your district seal or your numbers for the district. And it came out to be like that one there. So I'm still got that little bit of doubt, but got it down there being graded. So once I get it graded and certified, I'll be like, I did a good deal.
Nice. Well, I think it's very beneficial to people like me that are just getting into the currency to have guys like you, Rob, and Big Apple, and Stu Prubeck, and Ontario 100, some of the others, Dan at Polar Currency, to show the variety that this whole hobby has, that it's just endless, truly endless.
Yeah, it's for sure. I mean, like I said, and I always tell everybody, the main thing is to really get the. By the way, who is Polar Currency, those guys?
Yeah, who's this guy?
I have no idea. Who are those guys? Anybody that we know? Is it? I'm sorry. Was it? Yeah. Was that Rob?
We're not worthy.
Yeah, I guess we're not really worthy of knowing those guys. Yeah. So, but anyway, great guys, all of them. They're really nice guys, and they're knowledgeable with a lot of the stuff. And they also show people. One of the things that they did great show was how people should be if they have a certain way of collecting. By if you're collecting the $1 Federal Reserves, the $5 Federal Reserve, and as you work on, you could do that collection. My collection obviously is the entire book. Um, and I think a lot of people know. It's just one note. I'm just collecting one note, and I tell this all the time. Just one note graded. That's in the book. I'm not going to duplicate the notes. I did speak to, matter of fact, I did speak to um, uh, Kentucky John, and he mentioned, and he was like, because he's gotten into the currency part. And then I explained to him, I said, yeah, I don't consistently like buy like 10 Black Eagles, right? Like why would I buy that many Black Eagles? Or why would I continue buying, 1917s when just one of them is enough? Graded.
Yeah. But I mean, you got those people out there that, they have to have every district.
Right.
In the Federal Reserve banknotes.
Ontario, he actually collected, I think, one of them. I don't know if it was a back national notes, but really nice. He actually collected one of every district. The 12, which is great, was amazing. I was like, well, that's a cool set, like the way he collected it, right? You may have to sell it if you're gonna ever sell it. You may have to sell it unless you're gonna just break it up. But that was a pretty probably hard search. Then maybe what I'm gonna do, it's me. My search is just by one note graded. One 1902. $5 national, right? I don't care which FR number, or just as long as that I have one of them that's graded. I'm not concerned about the signature. The signature to me is not, I'm not looking at. I'm just looking for me to have one American history note. That's it, graded.
Yeah.
Just to know that it's not a fugazi, just that it's a graded note, 30 and better. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got my style collecting is I got like the ADD of collecting. I grab whatever catches my eye. I'm more into the obsoletes and along that lines. But I mean, that's the beauty of this hobby. I mean, you got people like Big Apple there that like the post 1862, where the American notes were actually done by the government. I prefer more of your pre-62s and that when you had before the printing of the government. It was all done by the banks through the American Banknote Company. You got people out there that love errors. I'm beginning to get into that. People like Dustin that like fancy serial numbers. I'll be honest, that's not my cup of tea. But like I said, I mean, that's the beauty of this hobby. Everybody has something that they can bring to the table.
Right. And that is one of the biggest things is how people collect their currency, right? We're not, some people, like he said, collects the error notes. I don't really see any, and there's a huge value on error notes, like even with like coins for the same way. There's a lot of error. Oh my God, it's an error, and they really enjoy that. Me, I'm not one of that. I just want it straight. The coin to be in mint condition or however condition. The same thing with currency. I'm not into error notes. I'm not into the fold or this or that or especially when sometimes you gotta just with notes like that you really have to just kind of buy those graded. I think to find out whether it was an error, because I know Stu Beck points people out on eBay. He does such a great job. He sits there, and I kind of just laugh, and I'm like, "Uh-oh, who's gonna get burnt today? Let's watch this." And he's like, "This is not an error." And I'm saying to myself, "There goes Stu Beck. He's gonna go fight that person." And I'm like, "Oh boy!" And it's just to go back and forth. It takes a lot. It's a lot of energy, there. But I think, like I said, everybody has a different way of collecting currency. So whether you collect all legal tenders, civil certificates, banknotes, national banknotes, Federal Reserve national notes. So I mean, it's just to me, I just think it's just know that you're collecting, right? So, but
There's no wrong way to collect.
no,
Yeah,
there is really just no wrong way to collect.
yeah.
Depends
You know,
however you want, you know.
yeah. Another thing I find very interesting in the coin community and all that is when someone will share with us the additional things they collect besides just coins or currency, like Big Apple, the comic books that you collect.
Right.
I think it's so neat when you share that with us. Rob, your collection of autographed cards, uh, it's got to be a phenomenal collection. I enjoy watching when you give us your week's returns in that. Uh, so many people in our hobby are collectors of multiple things. Uh, and I think that adds to uh, the whole community and the whole idea of collecting. If we would all share a little bit more about what we collect or why we collect it, I think we draw more people into the different types of collecting that we do. So I wanted to say that because I really appreciate knowing different things that you guys collect. Kraken Travis, Stacking with Kraken, was in earlier. He is a huge Hot Wheels collector.
Oh,
And
yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
how fascinating. And, I really wish more people that streamed like you guys do would share some of their other collecting hobbies. Big Apple mentioned I'm a gun collector, have been for years.
Right.
Uh, the I wish more people would share more about their collections with us.
Yeah.
Find it very fascinating.
And I did buy those Supermans from Kraken Travis, by the way. The Hot Wheels, I did buy them. I know he did post them, but I
Uh
did
huh.
pick them up from him. Yes. Um, Let me just touch back with this gentleman, William. Yeah, William, there's a link. Do you still have that link on the posted on the book? That should be
Yeah,
because we have a couple of other questions at the bottom. We got to
yeah.
get to.
So I got the link in there. It's to the books for the currency one for the U.S. currency, and also I got the link to like the 8 volumes of the obsolete currency in there as well.
Right. You could also pick up a book like this. This is actually the older model. The pricing is here. It just tells you everything of you know, um, what the notes are, who signed it, blah blah blah, everything else that's in it. Um, that's one. One of the other questions that just kind of just blew my mind, just lost my whole train on the way people collected the notes. Let me see. Let's get some other questions. Oh, okay. I had a yeah. Okay, had any other questions that I'm missing here? Because it looked like there was a lot of people typing. My music teacher. I didn't know Cracker still knew his music teacher. Is it? I thought Cracker
Those, those
is
was his
Cracker out of
notes.
school, or is he still in school? I think maybe he's still in school. Okay, so just kind of bust. I could have sworn I thought he was out of school by elementary school. Is that like which kid is that? Okay, yeah. So which one here we got natural backgrounds are very cool, but okay, yeah. The To me, like I said, the banknotes are we had the banknotes, right, Rob? Last
Yes,
week to the bank national banknotes. Last week we were doing right.
yes.
Okay, just want to make sure I didn't know whether if we were touching on that. Um, which any other questions that I missed here. It said baseball cards. That's retired Navy Rob, who likes doing that. Um, yeah, Rob likes to collect his baseball cards, and he gets them signed.
Yeah.
And I even tried to. He says, "Let me know." I say, "Is there a website?" He goes, "Yeah, there's a website. It's a website on what is it, Rob? To find out if these guys are still
You
around."
can. There's a couple of them that you can go to. Sport Card Forum. That's a free site. There's like sports collectors. That that is it's like $14 a year. So I mean that's nothing, and you can get the addresses to send them to. I like the sports collectors one because it lets you know the guys are still alive or dead. You can go in, you can see who's when the last time someone signed one and returned it was. So you're not sending to someone that don't return.
Right,
Um,
right. Angry Warrior says, "Hey, can I see Jeff one day to love to see Jeff Davis's um, gun collection, his firearm." And I actually had the pleasure of seeing that. And I'm gonna tell you, I was like dumbfounded, amazed of first of all, Jeff Davis. I'll just give him just kind of
Go ahead.
a view of
Go
what I
ahead,
saw.
Big.
Jeff Davis had this lined up as neat as I have this box full of legal tenders and silver certificates in this box. That's how neat those guns were. They were lined up like soldiers, so neat. He had everything in this room that he looked to show. And it was and this was a room. This Jeff Davis does not have like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, 10 guns. This was must have been about 200 guns, maybe, Jeff Davis?
Yeah,
About
over.
that?
yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, when they come to take the guns, he just lost them all in a fishing accident. His boat overturned. He
yeah,
lost
yeah,
every single one of them.
yeah.
Yep.
So Jeff Davis has this, and I'm telling you, this room was huge, and it was just lined up. It was like so beautiful how every gun was the way he had it situated. And I'm saying to myself, that is a lot of that's a lot. That's like you must have been collecting for years. And Jeff Davis said yes, he does, and it is a really good gun collection, Jeff Davis, that you do have. Fortunately, we cannot really show guns on
We
the
can't
channel
do that
because
even alive. They'll shut you down in a
yeah,
heartbeat.
that'll shut you down immediately. So
Yep.
we definitely won't be showing that, but we can definitely show you the uh, currency as much as possible. Um,
Yeah.
Banknotes
Angry
and coins,
Bird.
welcome.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Send an email.
yeah, definitely, Angry War. You can definitely send him an email on that.
Yep.
Because he does have a really good and Jeff Davis. Jeff
Thank
Davis.
you,
I
Big
was talking with
Russell.
Jeff Davis. Uh, um, you have one of my guns. I think it was a 32, no 38 special. He said you
Right.
do
Uh,
have one of those, right? So I said, oh yeah, I like that one. That's back in the old going to the bathroom of the good Godfather. He put it in the back there, up in the box, So that was that. But yeah, Jeff Davis has tons and tons of those uh, um, collection. He has a hell of a great big collection on that. So,
Thank you, Big
uh,
Apple.
yeah, no, I didn't want to blow your spot up, but I'm amazed at it. I'm like really dumbfounded, and I will probably one day, maybe one day, I probably will make it out to see Jeff Davis. Maybe we'll head out to you one day, Jeff Davis. Jeff
We'd love
Davis
to
is
have
not
you
that.
here.
Yeah, Jeff Davis is not that far from me.
No.
You know.
Yeah. I'm very lucky where Lola and I live here in West Virginia. When we bought our house, one of the criteria was I wanted to have enough land that I could have a gun range on my property that was safe for everybody around. And Lola and I have our own gun range out back. We can shoot out to 180 yards. And most of my collection, the guns are shootable. Uh, the older guns, like the Revolutionary War gun and the Civil War guns, I try not to shoot them very often because I wouldn't want them to get damaged. But they are shootable, so yeah.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine that used to do Revolutionary War reenactments,
Wow.
and I fired his muskets numerous times because when they bring it back, you with that type of weapon, you got to clean it when it's still hot.
Right.
So when they bring it back, it was all cold and everything, so we would have to fire off some volleys, and he had land like you. So we actually shot musket balls off, and it's amazing because that gun's so heavy that you're firing a cannonball out of it basically, and it doesn't even move.
Yeah, most of them 68 or 72 caliber.
Yeah, it's just wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he taught me how to load it, how to make sure, and he always used a joke. He goes, because he plays the British side, and he goes, and you turn your head. He goes, and that's not to protect yourself from the blast. He goes, because if you shoot someone intentionally, then it's murder. He goes, if they get in the way of your bullet, then it's just the will of God.
Now, Jeff Davis, let me just go back to our currency because we're going into guns for 1 second. But I'm going to go back to, where do you normally purchase your notes from, by the way?
Well, so far, the majority of what I have are the obsolete notes that I purchased years ago. Recently, I bought a couple of notes online. I think Auction Palooza, I might have got one, some other auction channel, mainly people in the community here. I'm still learning about it, so
Right.
I haven't purchased that much because I'm afraid I'm going to buy a Fugazi or end up overpaying for stuff. So I'm still trying to learn more. My local coin shop has some currency, but I've never purchased any from him.
Right.
So really from people in the community, I guess you'd say, is where I've purchased so far.
Yeah. It's good to purchase things from the coin community. But I do see sometimes that I've seen people, and I would definitely 100% challenge that, because I see some people that they just sell something where it's just like really overpriced, and I'm saying to myself, well, that's really just not
Yeah.
valued for that point. That's like really high. Like, you could pick that up somewhere else if you just, I mean,
Hey,
I think you're past eBay prices. So sometimes you gotta. Um, I think if I purchase currency, I want to purchase from somebody who really knows about currency.
right.
Um, because like I said, most of the time, people that are selling it, um, they may just not really know about currency, and may think that they have $1 million in their hand, and they don't. You
Yeah.
know, you mentioned Auction Palooza. Auction Palooza. I actually I did purchase a note from him. And I think it was in 1902, and I picked it up on a very good deal. I was like, okay, well, that's, nobody really challenged me, but then now you kind of see it, you say, okay, now some of the notes that you're selling are maybe a little too high now. Now you're kind of just going a little past, and then you get the people in the channel that may not know, and now they're just overbidding. So I won't really just
Yeah.
sit there, because I go to too many different auction houses, Stacks of Bowers, and Heritage Auctions, which I actually just bought two notes from Heritage Auctions. I'm actually waiting for them to come in, and I think Rob, I think you know that I did a pretty good deal on
Oh
both
yeah,
of
you
them.
knocked him upside the head. You
So yeah, I
definitely did.
mean, I kind of did that, yeah. But I know that if I sold these notes, I probably would not just sell them just to make. I would probably either just sell them right, probably at the right mark, or maybe slight over if there was an auction on it. But
Yeah,
most of the time, some of these notes, I'm just kind of just bidding them out. I'm not going to really have because a lot of people may not know, and it's the last thing I want to do is take. Um, if I took I don't know, if I took, I'll give you a perfect example here, which is a Black Eagle. If I took this Black Eagle and I decided to sell it, this is a 58, I can't put this up for that $650. It just doesn't really make sense. I'm actually holding this with my hands. I normally like to have my gloves on because I hate touching and cleaning, but you could just see it. But I can't really sell this for 650. It's not really, it's a 58 EPQ. You could probably pick this up exactly for 575, 5.5. I'm assuming, right, Rob? I don't know if you can
right
agree with,
around there.
right? Yeah, you probably would have to, around that price. That's and maybe 575, the max, right? Because T and Burke signed it. No, Parker and Burke. I thought it was T. This is Parker. So, again, the signatures to me, sometimes it's how many were printed, right? But I'm not going by that. I'm going by but there are people out there that I've seen sell currency, and I'm like, oh my God. They're like, yeah, Big Apple. And I'm like, no, because I don't, it's the last thing I want to do is write in the chat saying that's too expensive. So,
Yeah, I
you
hate it
know,
when they call you out. When you
yeah,
come in and you're like,
I'm like, no,
uh,
don't mention my name, please. Big Apples. I'm like, no, that's too expensive. Sorry. It's like, I don't want to do that to anybody because, everybody's, they want to sell whatever they want to sell. But
yeah,
I personally, anything I do sell, it would ever have to be something that, and if you know me personally, you talk to me on the phone and you know me, you have my number, you're having a conversation with me, you're going to know that I'm not a person that's knocking people out the box. I just won't, I just can't do that.
no.
I don't have that in me. Um, that's to me, it's like, I might as well just go to the bank and steal money. I don't know. So, um, just
But
knock
yeah, I
somebody,
mean,
flip
yeah,
somebody.
your local coin stores, great place. Auction houses, like Big
Yeah,
Apple said, both heritage auctions and Stack Bowers.
yeah.
They're
E-
great.
Even Lola's estate sales, state auctions,
Yes.
and estate auctions again. Those are pretty well also. And first of all, those are really hard to find. I mean, that you're gonna kind of find that in. I don't think estate auctions are here in New York. I'm not that sure. I don't really look into that, but I know that they have different auctions. And again, I just kind of just deal with stacks and heritage auctions. That's where I'm at now. eBay, I don't even. I I did purchase something from eBay. And this was again on a deal. Sometimes they do search for that, but there are just so many people that so many different places that you can pick up. To me, I just think that the coin community, unless you really know about currency, um, Stubeck actually, Stubeck does sometimes those little things, which is the prices. Like if you don't get there, they're gone. Like I think as soon as
Yeah.
like if you don't have them on that bell alert, you're done because he posts it. They're gone. They're gone. They're gone. Everybody and I was like, wow, okay. So, but he does it on a video, so you got to pick either one if you're interested in number one, number two, number three. Before you know it, it's like such a huge line, and I'm like, holy smokes, they're all gone. So
Yeah, you
actually,
go back
Stubeck,
through the comments and
yeah,
everyone's bought already.
right. And Stubeck actually gives it, and most of the stuff that he's selling is not like really, really, really high end because I'm more than sure he's going to keep it. But he sells a lot of the stuff at such good prices that you really can't, either it's right there or it's a little under, So you're
Good
actually
starter
pretty, yeah,
notes.
Yeah, good starter notes. Absolutely 100% on that. And starter notes, can be purchased, silver certificate dollars. A lot of people collect a lot of silver certificate dollars, whether the funny backs or whether, the godless notes. Yes, you could purchase those out, but those are very good notes. The $5, silver certificates. But yeah, you could get those, and I don't know what are the starter notes, or you can get a Black Eagle, which is most of the Black Eagles, even in the rough condition, they're probably about $90 from 85, 90, maybe 90 and above. Black Eagles, it's such a high note, it's very hard to even get them. They're pretty expensive. So, but
Well, I think what you're saying, Big Apple, too, buy from somebody reputable,
yeah,
but get the knowledge before you buy.
yeah,
Because, like, I haven't bought many notes because I'm still trying to learn, and,
right,
you know, but the book is, you got to have the book as a starting point,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the new book is coming out in July.
right?
So, I've already pre ordered mine. Big Apple's already pre ordered his.
I have
So if you're
too,
buying one now, I would hold off, do your pre order. But
right?
it's definitely worth it, to have that book. And I'm crazy. How you doing?
yeah. And I'm crazy. How are you? And hello to everybody else who's been popping in here. Yeah, guys, don't forget to hit that like button. By the way,
A
even though
pain
that
in the ass. How you doing?
pain in the ass, what's going on? And
Hello.
um, even though hitting the like button is always good to get done. By the way, I know some of you guys may not like me and Rob, but maybe if you like Jeff Davis, that's okay. Just hit that like button. So, guys, we're almost up at that time. I don't know. We are going to. You have any other questions, Jeff Davis? Maybe before we say farewell to you and to
Yeah.
everybody else. Yeah. You have anything else?
Not really. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and I hope, um, Rob, that you and Big Apple and other people continue this on Fridays. Uh, the currency is just, to me, it's extremely fascinating. Uh, and like I said, the more I learn, the more confused I become on what I really want to collect. It's all so beautiful. It's all historic. Uh, it's just a fantastic hobby, like so many things are, to get into.
Yeah, it is very hard. It is very hard to collect basically what you want. It is all expensive. Currency is not cheap, especially when you get graded currency, especially when you stick with the high notes. They are very expensive. I know because I have a lot of them with me. Um, but yeah, other than that, I already see the GA guys. Don't forget to put that hashtag GA up. Um,
Yeah,
and
so I figured I'd throw out because I got some of them cards from Gypsy. Um, I'll give away 2 grains of silver. We'll do 2 galls at the end. But so far, we only have 6 people entered. We have 19 watching. So let's go ahead and
yeah,
go
one of
ahead.
the things I'll just quickly touch. I kind of one of the things that I do, and I think a lot of people do, and I kind of always share it out. Inside my book, um, inside my book here, I'm just gonna kind of just thank you. It's okay. I'll swing that
No,
around.
I'll bring you in big.
Yeah, no problem. No, that's what
Uh,
she said. Yeah.
Hey,
So
watch it there.
that's what she said. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, um, haven't done it, but here's one of the notes. Here's one of the notes that I just recently purchased. It has not come here yet, but it is this $2, $18.99, $2 that's coming to me. Anyway, I do normally put a little sticker in here because when I go to the coin show, I take this book with me. So that way I know what I have and what I don't have. So when I walk around here, I know I have this note already, right? I need to get this one. The 1933 Blue Seal, by the way, instead of the 1934, this is very rare. This is extremely rare. This is really, where do you see a 1933 $10 note, which is so difficult to find, but they are very expensive. So get ready for that one. But when I do walk around, and I'm almost completed with the entire $1, so I already know I have all these, and I kind of just show this here. This one here doesn't have the grade because this note PMG has right now. I'm waiting for it to come. And so most of all these notes, this one here, PMG has it right now, waiting for it to get graded. So I have these notes. This one here I'm missing. So I'm almost completed with the entire $1 from 1862 to today. I have mostly. I'm almost done with the entire set. The $1 set, by the way. Is there a $10 mule? $10 mule in what year? I'm not that sure. Probably so.
I'm pretty sure because a mule's just an accident where they use a different plate on the back.
That's all it is. They have $20 mules. Do I have one? I do have one. I'll quickly show it to you. These are my small notes. Do I have one? I know, I thought I did. I don't know.
I thought you had one that it was even that you got back and you didn't even know it was a mule till you got it back.
I don't know. I thought I did.
Or you got that being reholdered.
Who knows? I don't even know. Maybe. Huh. When you have all these notes, you don't even know what the hell you have here. That's the sad part. Oh, yeah, look, here's one. No, I gotta have to. Let me turn this around. This is the actually. Here's your mule. Yeah, there you go. All right. Are we running this here?
Yeah, let's see here. We got
34.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw down the 30-second timer. Give everyone one last chance to throw the pound gall in, and then we'll run it. All right, let's run it.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Who do we got? Who do we got in the house? Gotta be in it. Pain.
Pain in the ass.
ass.
Congratulations.
Pain in the ass. Congrats on that.
All right, that's like I said, I'm giving away 2 grains, so I'll run it again for the second one. And Barry.
Barry, hell yeah,
All
let's
right.
go.
I know I've sent stuff out to both of you, but if you can re-email me your email address, retirednavyrob@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to get that out to the mail to you. So, Jeff, any parting words of wisdom? Any parting words, hey, to other people who are just starting off?
Well, at first it's going to seem very overwhelming, and it probably is. It has been for me. But I think the more you learn and the more you see, you'll realize what you like. And like so many people have said in the past, collect what you like. And I think if you buy the books, watch the videos, ask questions, pay attention to the channels, you'll figure out what you want to collect and be successful with it. I think it's a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys for everything that you share, and thanks for having me up here with you. It's been a pleasure.
I'll definitely thank you for popping up.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It takes a lot to hang out with us, to hang out with us, we always tell people,
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
So, just to let you know that. So, guys, like I tell everybody, we are,
Glad to sit down. Phew.
we are out of time. We are coming out of time here, guys. So, guys.
Yeah, thank you for not playing the other one.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know what the other one was, but
the one you're out of time. It's time for you to.
oh, that one. Yeah, that one is not up yet. I don't have that one. That's an evening show. That's an evening show.
That's that PG-13 plus show.
Yes. So, guys, again, thank you very much. Jeff Davis Hangout. And, guys, take care. And like I tell everybody, brush your hair. Don't forget.
All right, everyone, keep on stacking.
That's it.
I can imagine no more rewarding a career. And any man who may be